I never thought much about coffee. To me, it was a means to an end. The thing that kept me semi-functioning through endless Zoom meetings, cold commutes, and the occasional regretful scroll through emails I wish I hadn't answered. But one cup changed everything. Not for me, but maybe for someone else. It was Tuesday. Cold. The kind of cold that gets inside your bones and makes you question your life choices. I lived in Boston then and commuted into the financial district. Same walk every morning. Same overpriced latte from the corner cafe. Same alley I cut through to shave off 2 minutes from my routine. That alley, it was nothing special. Between a bakery and an old bookstore that had been closed for years. Cracked pavement, rusted dumpster, a flickering overhead light that never quite worked. And him. I don't know how long he'd been there. I can't say for sure the first day I noticed him. But at some point, he became a part of the alley. Not in a sad way, not even in a threatening one. Just present. A man in layers of tattered coats, always tucked into himself, back against the wall. Sometimes asleep, sometimes staring at the bricks like they held answers. He never asked for money, never held a sign. I passed him every day, and every day I didn't stop. Maybe because I was late, maybe because I didn't know what to say, maybe because I didn't want to admit how close I was to feeling just as invisible. Until that Tuesday. I remember it because everything went wrong that morning. My alarm didn't go off. The heater in my apartment was out. The coffee machine in my kitchen gave up on life. I was tired, annoyed, and if I'm being honest, a little raw. There'd been a moment, just a moment, the night before, where I stared at my ceiling and wondered, is this it? 33. No partner. No kids. A job I didn't hate but certainly didn't love. An apartment that echoed. And a quiet ache I never talked about. I bundled up and walked out into the frost, got my usual black coffee from the cafe, muttered thank yous, and cut through the alley like I always did. That's when I saw him again. But something was different. He wasn't just sitting, he was shaking. Subtle, but I noticed. His lips were blue, his hands tucked inside his coat, pressed to his chest. For a second, I did what I always did. Walked past. But I stopped. I don't know why. Maybe it was the cold. Maybe it was the way he blinked up at me, confused, like no one had looked him in the eyes in years. I turned around, went back to the cafe, bought another coffee and a cinnamon roll, still warm. I walked over, knelt beside him, and held out the cup. It's hot, I said quietly. Please take it. He looked at me, not at the coffee, at me. And for a moment I felt exposed, like I was the one being seen. He reached out, slowly, took it, and nodded. Thank you, he whispered. His voice was barely there. I handed him the roll. There's a place 2 blocks down, I said, pointing. Shelter opens at 9. He didn't respond, just stared at the roll like it was something sacred. I stood. He didn't ask my name, and I didn't give it. That should have been the end of it. I went to work, did my meetings, answered emails, pretended I wasn't still thinking about him. And the next day, he wasn't there, nor the day after, or the day after that. I'll admit, part of me was relieved. Maybe he found the shelter. Maybe he was okay. But part of me worried. The kind of worry you don't tell anyone about, because they'd ask, why do you care? You didn't even know him. But sometimes, you don't need to know someone to feel connected. Sometimes, just seeing someone every day becomes a kind of quiet bond. A week passed. That's when it happened. I came back from lunch, cold again, gloves stiff, and my receptionist, Melanie, handed me an envelope. No postage, no name. Just one line. To the woman with the warm coffee. My hands trembled. I took it to my office, shut the door, and opened it. Inside, a letter. Written in shaky but careful handwriting. I don't know your name, but I remember your eyes. No one has looked at me like that in a long time, not since my wife. I was a teacher once. English literature, I used to read Shakespeare out loud, with a voice that could make students laugh. I had a daughter, a house, a life, and then I didn't. Grief is a funny thing. It doesn't hit you all at once. It's quiet, like water rising. One day your feet are wet, then your knees, then your chest, and before you know it, you can't breathe. I lost her to cancer. I lost myself after. The streets. They aren't just about losing a home. They're about losing your place in the world, your rhythm, your reason. That morning, I was ready to disappear. I had no intention of going to the shelter. I had something else planned. Then you stopped and gave me warmth. Not just the coffee, but your words, your voice, your presence.